Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, original. Chapter number 3, text number 43. The last verse of the chapter called Karma Yoga. Lord Krishna says here, Evam Buddhe Param Buddhva Samstha Abhyatmanam Atmanaha Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho Kamarubam Durasadam. The translation is, consequently, knowing that the soul is superior to the mind, senses, and intelligence, a person must fix his mind with spiritual intelligence and conquer the insatiable enemy called lust. O mighty armed one, Evam Buddhe Param Buddhva. The present intelligence must be controlled by Param Buddhva, superior intelligence. We need to do that. We cannot expect God wish like this, God wish like that. These are foolishness. We are individual souls and we have our individual consciousness. As the saying goes, Jaise Karani, Vaise Bharani, right? The way you sow, you harvest. So, with present intelligence, we have come down willingly to this material world. Just like a prisoner commit crime and end up in prison. He has the choice to behave nicely or make it worse. If he behaves nicely, his exoneration is guaranteed. Otherwise, his prison life will be extended. So he is already an incarcerated person, just like us. In the material world, we are already imprisoned. And we want to make it worse by not caring to get rid of this lust. Krishna has said in the previous verse, the soul is being superior. It can control all the subtle senses and gross senses. Samstha Adhyatmanam. The soul can curb the sensual knots with the sense objects, primarily called sex desire. Now we can see pornography industry. 35% of the young generation is surfing in pornography. The rest of the people would be old people and children. In other words, most of the young generation, every 9 seconds, is surfing. This is the statistics given by Google, mostly using Google Chrome. They are claiming that. Do they have any control over these peoples misusing the freedom? And United States alone, they make 12 billion to 14 billion US dollars from the pornography industry. There are actors dedicated for this. Even though they are acting, it is real. And everyone wants to go into it because the lust residing in the senses and in the mind and intelligence. The moment you get a holiday, you just go and start surfing. That is what they are saying. Mostly Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 9/11/2001, when the Al-Qaeda hit New York towers and tried to destroy the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. They lost many lives in that hit, and they brought the Twin Towers down. More than 5,000 altogether, 7, 8, 9, 10 thousands of people died. That time, the pornography industry were blooming in United States. I was in Chicago, Temple. We saw people say so many things. 60, 70% people before the Twin Tower hit surfing the internet, especially on this subject, porn. But after 9/11, the graph straight went down because people were afraid of their life. They ran to churches for saving their life. What do you understand from this? When you don't have any trouble, your mind is focusing on sex. But if you have trouble, your mind is engaged to get out of that trouble. So the sex is not actually the main subject in there. Sex actually appears when one is relaxed, comfortable. I have sufficient money. I have sufficient food. I have no tensions. So let me sit and surf on the sex movies. So all these people rushed to the churches. The porn industry were having hardly profits. But immediately after that, Maya is so powerful, make everyone forget immediately the problems. So after a few days of mourning and weeping and crying and lamenting over the dead and the loss, they again began to surf on the porn sites. The problem should be there always so that the mind can be engaged in different places. Otherwise, the ultimate pleasure in this material world they could find only in sex. The devotees of the Lord who are highly elevated, they see the Supreme Lord everywhere. But a materialist see sex everywhere is exactly 180-degree opposite. Everywhere they go, while traveling, while walking, while sitting, while working, this is what the mind is meditating on. Dhyayad vishayan pumsaha sangasteshtu bhajayade sangad samjayade kama kamad krodho abhijayade. If you are sitting and surfing on it, somebody knocks your door, you will be really angry at. Kamad krodha abhijayade. If the lust is not satisfied, immediately krodha increases. Doesn't matter who was knocking the door, you get angry at them. So everyone retire for their weekend for this purpose. They don't have any religious duties, spiritual duties. They just focus on this. I have one life to enjoy. What is that enjoyment? This momentary pleasure. And 30% of our Indian women and 70% of our Indian young men and women is surfing on porn sites every day. So this is the culture. The real culture, they thought it is our enemy. They accepted as the counterculture. And the nasty culture, they take it as their real culture. This is the happiness I can get in this world. Even though they know the aftermath of all these actions are simply end up in misery, but they take pleasure in that momentary happiness. Women, according to Kapila Muni and the Acharyas, they have 34-ounce brain substance. 34 ounce. Men, they have 64-ounce brain substance. So who has to control who? Who is supposed to be more intelligent? Is the man. And men become the pet animal in the hand of woman. So if they are unable to control, how the women class who has 34-ounce brain substance can be sanely? By following the good husband, they can also obtain perfect life. But the men themselves are uncontrolled. How the nice woman can progress? Pumsa striya maituni bhavam thayor mitho hridaya grandim ahuha. Pumsa and striya, they come together because they involve in sex. Maituni bhavam. Thayor mido hridaya grandim ahuha. Both of their heart, when there are 3-4 ropes twisted together, it is very difficult to cut it, break it. So hridaya grandim ahuha. Their heart's knot is actually hooked, just like a one compartment of train is connected to the another compartment. It's very inseparable. Ado grihakshetra sudhapta vithair. Because their hearts' knots are so tightly tightened. Ado grihakshetra. Griha means house. Kshetra means their land, field. Sutha, children. Apta, relatives. Vittair means wealth, money. Janasya mohoyam aham mamedi. Then, due to the illusion, moha, janasya means generates. Moham, delusion, illusion. Aham, everything is I and mine. There was no relationship with these people a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, or a few years ago. These relationships were created after we married legally. I have friendship or relationship with them illegally, but these are created by us. There are so many women, but with one woman who I have this bodily connection, I call her as my wife. My wife. If she behave little strangely, then the man's entire consciousness goes behind her to check her attitudes and characteristics and basically swabhava, whether she is cheating me. She may not be doing anything. He may not be doing anything also, because I have a bodily connection. Though we have so many millions of men and women, with one whom we have a knot tied up, my universe is that person and the children. So many children are there, but we become so partial to our children, which is natural. Krishna has that Swabhava also. Even though all are his children, those who have surrendered to him, they are special for him. And he takes care of them very nicely. So, this is the way we were cheated by our material mind and material intelligence and material senses. Don't become so irrational. Based on this capture of the subtle senses over the soul, we take this particular life, which is very temporary, into reality and eternity. Any moment, young man, young woman, old man, old woman, children die. So what will happen after the death? No foolish man has any idea. Even the great scholars think we have only one life to become famous, to earn money, to capture power, and enjoy the results. And in this way, we are illusion, but we have to be disillusioned. The possibility is there. And that we need to be agreed to adopt that principles of life, which elevate our consciousness. Human life is not the ultimate bloomed conscious beings. There are Devi Devadas and there are pure Vaishnavas. And it goes on until the gopis' consciousness. So the consciousness of the human beings at present, what we are experiencing, is not the final. We can develop our consciousness more and more and more. Because the mind is being under the control of lust, senses are under control of the lust, and trying to enjoy the sexual pleasure day and night doesn't make any sense. I was asking the other day to one guy. He was telling he cannot be without sex. So casually I asked him, how many times you do this? He says, 4 times a week. He was honest, openly told me, when you were married, how many times you were doing? He said, every day, 3, 4. So now, after 10, 15 years, he came to 4 times. That's a good progress. This is what's going on. The world is completely under this illusion. I asked him, what did you gain from this? Nothing. That moment's pleasure. That's it. After that, have to run here and there to make money. As an economist said, the requirement of the economy, money, comes only when you enter into the family life. So the family life is the main cause for everybody to work very hard to bring money. Srila Sukadeva Goswami says in Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, Nidraya hriyade naktum vyavayena chavavayaha divacharteshu rajan kudumbam varnenava. O King, Maharaj Parikshit, the fallen householders engaged in the material activities, only Their duty is at night. Nidra. Nidraya hriyade naktum. Naktum means night. Nidra means sleep. Either they sleep, vyavayena chavavayaha, or have sex. These two things they do at night. Either sleeping or having sex. Divacha arteshu rajan. In the daytime, diva cha arteshu. Where is money, where is money, where is money, where is money, where is money? Arteshu, Rajan, if they don't go for making money, kudumbam bharanenava, staying at home, family bharana, maintenance, paying of the bills, right? Taking care of the kids, taking them to school, engaging in the parents association or whatever meetings, supervising their children's study, going for shopping, paying the electricity bill, and cleaning the garden, taking care of the wife's requirements, going online, checking your bank balance, thinking about how to increase it, buying land, buying gold, buying other silverwares. Kudumbam Bharanenava. Is there any legal issues? Their marriage functions to be attended. Sharda ceremony has to be performed. Or someone's birthday, death day, anniversaries, or some religious functions. In this way, they take off from their office and engage in all these activities. At night, that two things. In the day, these two things. Making money or spending it. This is called karma kandya. We have 7 human births to live to perfect our human life. Just 7 births. It is up to us how to use these 7 births to glide down to the subterranean planets or lower species of life, or progress by understanding the meaning of human birth and trying to progress and go back to the original world where we came from. Exactly like a prisoner begging from the jailer, please. And jailer says, no sir, I cannot do. I am only supervising you so that you don't jump out of this place and run. My duty is to keep you here, not to release you from here. For releasing, government rules and regulation has to be followed, and they have already forwarded to the court. It is the judge who read out the laws given by the government. So you follow the government and we can free you. Those who have come here, we want to make sure they behave properly and stay and follow the judgment given to you by the judge. This is the only duties that we have. And if you are creating more and more troubles, then we will intervene and punish you more. That's all we can do. But if you want to be released from the prison, you have to accept humbly the punishment given by the government and wait for that day that you can go out of this place to the city. And that is what we are too. 7 human births. Whether we are following the spiritual orders, laws, and lifestyle of the spiritual world and prepare to cooperate with the Supreme Lord to go back to the spiritual world. Exactly like the criminal wants to go to the city back so that he can be free. But actually in the city also you can be free as long as you follow rules and regulations of the city. If a dog or a cat crossed the signal while it was red, no traffic police would be after him to give him a ticket or arrest him. But if the human being break the red light and go, he will be punished. So laws and orders are for us. At present, we are entangled in the lust, greed, anger. Every day, millions are dying. Natural death, accidental death, murder, raping, after that killing them, whether children, women, older women, and over and above wars, and still, because few of them have no problem, they are engaged in sexual activities, drinking, meat eating, and gambling. Therefore, Mother Kunti prays to Krishna, when I was nice, you are leaving. But when I had problems, you are always with me. So I pray all those problems shall return to me so that you will be always with me, Krishna. But here, when people have no problem, let us have drinks, let us have chicken, let us have mutton, let us have beef, let us have sex. And Krishna is saying, come to the consciousness level. The symptom of the soul is consciousness. As long in any jiva there is consciousness moving, they have the soul. You cannot see the soul with your blunt or naked eyes. You can only see the symptoms of the soul. That is consciousness. Just like a bug moving on the ground, an ant moving on the ground, or any living being is moving here or there. That means that living being has a soul. They cannot take up Krishna consciousness. But because we are in the human body, we can take up the Krishna consciousness and perfect our life, and not to entangle again into the cycle of birth and death in 8,400,000 of living species. That is what Krishna is telling here. Raise above the mind, intelligence, and ego and senses by properly engaging your soul. What is a proper engagement? It is only the spiritual engagement. Spiritual engagement means Krishna comes into the scene. That consciousness keeps us always in human body. All other activities are risky. There is no hope and there is no guarantee. That is what the Lord is saying. Wake up to the platform of the soul. This is the philosophical aspects of the Karma Yoga chapter. Krishna is the super soul in everyone's heart. If a sincere jiva wants to get out of these lustful desires, he compassionately helps them to do so. Why? Because we are eternally part and parcels of him. So therefore, we have that right to get out of these lustful desires. And Krishna, always in love with his children, very nicely pick them up and help them. Tesham sadada yuktanam bhajadam pridi purvakam tadhami buddhi yogam tam. Those who have always engaged in my devotional service and wants to have that bhakti, tadhami buddhi yogam tam, I give them the intelligence by which they can come to me. So you need to take step. You cannot demand why Krishna or God is doing this to me. Our free will, exercise it properly. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.